marketing does not go to waste. It has impact, it is effective, and along the way it is converting leads. I'll be able to explain leads as we go along. So who is a lead? I'll be able to break down who a lead is. So here you're converting leads and reaching your audience. So how do you develop a content strategy? There are 7 steps on how you develop a content marketing strategy or a content strategy. 1, again, this can be a document that is written. So it needs to have proper goals, which are smart. Define your particular KPIs, key performance indicators. Choose your content channels. Decide on the type of content you want to deploy. Set out a budget. Create and distribute the content. Analyze and measure results. So how do you set goals? Examples of goals you can set for your content strategy are things like you want to improve your brand awareness. You want people to get to know more about your business and your brand. You want to increase your revenue. So you can use content to increase your revenue. So the way you deploy the content will be keen in terms of boosting sales and revenue. You can increase conversions using content. So you can increase people who convert and become the cheerleaders I talked about. People that get to transact around your business and convert to become loyal customers. You can improve brand loyalty. So things like people that are loyal to your brand, you can improve that loyalty. So you can increase customer engagement. You can increase people that engage with you. So when you create content and people engage and you get to respond with them, so that engagement can be increased, but it can only be increased if you have a content strategy, a plan around how you deploy your content. The other thing is you can build rapport and trust among prospects and customers. Along the way, even as you use social, you can have people that come to you in inboxes and you can convert them, whereby you're increasing conversions, but also they can become the cheerleaders again that I've mentioned that you get to talk to. You can even know them by name, people that transact or people that get to interact with your business or with your brand. The other thing you can do, or what content strategy can help you do, is that it can attract strategic partners. The other thing is determining your KPIs. So KPIs are quantifiable data points you earn. You can use to measure your actual performance against your goal. So you need to determine different key performance indicators, very clear key performance indicators. So you need to be clear. Where are we headed? What are we doing? You need to set targets on how you're going to do that. So defining your KPIs, you can have things like these, which I'm going to take you through. You can have goals and related KPIs. So if you say brand awareness, you can say site traffic. So site traffic can be an indicator of brand awareness. Social media followers can be an indicator of brand awareness. Subscription, sign-ups, mentions by customers and partners. These can be heavy indicators of brand awareness. The other one can be revenue in terms of a goal you can set. But remember, every goal has to be very smart. That is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So revenue can be things like daily sales, site traffic. All those can drive back to a KPI like revenue. Conversions, maybe things like conversion rate, shopping cart, if you have a shopping cart and you're into e-commerce, abandonment rate, associated shipping rate trends, competitive price trends. All these can be things that can be indicators for your conversion. Brand loyalty can be things like returning customers. It shows that your customers are loyal to your business, to your brand. Promoters, product reviews. People get to review on your website or maybe your social, like on Twitter, and they review a product and say, we loved this product, we loved the camera, when I bought this pair of shoes, when I bought this from this shop, when I came to you. When you have those reviews, they're the heavy indicators of brand loyalty. Then customer engagement. Customer engagement can be things like likes, shares, follows, mention, or backlinks for this. This can be for the website. Rapport and trust. So rapport and trust can have things like returning customers, promoters, followers, mentions. Strategic partners can be things like new partnerships. So if you get a new partnership through your content, that can be an indicator from strategic partners if that was the KPI that you set out. Or mentions or backlinks. So backlinks can be stories that are written about you and they're connected back to your website. Decide the type of content you want to use. Remember, again, we are creating a content strategy. The content strategy is in our bigger document, the digital marketing strategy. So choose the type of content you want to create. It's very key that you know the type of content you want to create. To do this, start by thinking about your target audience. Again, everything, as you have heard from the very beginning, we're emphasizing knowing your target audience. So your target audience is your customer persona, is your buyer persona. Answer the questions, answer some of these questions. What do they need from you? What do these buyer personas or the targeted audience, what do they need from you? What challenges are they looking to overcome? When you have these questions set out, it's very clear on which kind of content you're going to create along the way. Why do they need your product or service? Right? How can you help them succeed? So if you're able to crack down these 4 questions, they're able to churn you and guide you through as you create content. Create content as you create it along the lines, again, as you're thinking of ideas on creating content. So it's very clear to know who your buyer persona is. What do they need from you? What are their challenges? What do you plan to do with your product or service or solution that you have? Why do they need your product or service? How can you help them succeed? How can you help me if I was your buyer persona or targeted audience? How can I now get to interact with that piece of content? Then you get to help me along the way. So the other thing is you're choosing your content channels. Your content should be where your audience is. So put your insights to work to connect with them. So you need to, along the way, do some research. You already know who your customer is, your buyer persona, your customer persona. It's very key that you know where they are. Are they on TikTok? You now need to have TikTok in the strategy as one of your channels. Are they on YouTube? Do they love to watch videos? Again, this, as we go slowly into the budget, do you have a budget for videos if you're going to create videos? These are questions I want you to think about. So choose your content channels. Do you need to use a website, right? Do you need to use an app? Do you need to go on social? Which social channels do you need to be on? Do you need to be on Facebook? Do you need to be on Twitter? Why do you need to be on Instagram? Why should you use Pinterest? These are questions I would like you to answer along the way. Again, you need to know where your audience is. The people you're speaking to, if they're 35 to 45, for instance, do they watch videos? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? Do they go on IGTV? Are they on Twitter? Do they interact with Pinterest? Can you grab them through search, with search marketing? So these are questions you need to be answering. So hopping from one platform to another for different campaigns may leave your audience confused. So along the way, you need to be very specific in terms of knowing insights and studying where your audience is. Very important that you know where your audience is so that you don't hop. Now we're on Twitter, now we're going to use an app, now about to go and use Blogger. About we use Medium, can we go on YouTube? Should we use Pinterest? The audience that you're targeting gets very confused along the way. Okay, so again, as we are creating a content strategy, we need to set a budget. So it's very important that you set out a budget. Think about the type of content you're creating and which channels you're marketing that content on. Then ask yourself the following questions to determine your budget. Do you need to purchase any software or technology to create the content? Such as graphics design, softwares like Adobe Photoshop or the Adobe Suite. Do you need to purchase any of that? Do you need to hire any content creation team? Do you need to hire writers, editors, graphics designers? Do you need to as a business? Do you need to pay for ad space, paid media, media advertising? Do you need to pay for ad space? All these questions lead you in terms of building your budget. Do you need access to specific tools or resources to enhance or measure your specific type of content? Do you need certain tools for reporting or analytics that will guide you to see how your content is performing? You need to know. So all these questions, if you're able to answer them, then you can, again, on paper, get to build a budget in terms of your content strategy. Think about your distribution holistically rather than a piecemeal activity. So now we're getting into distribution. We have looked at the different steps in how to develop and put up a content strategy. We have talked about content marketing. We have talked about content strategy, looked at the content strategy steps. Now we're getting into distribution. Think about distribution holistically. It needs to be important that distribution is thought about holistically, not like one activity, because now you have created content. You have a budget, you have created it, you have the piece of content. Let's say you have a video. How will you distribute it? Where will you distribute it? Possibly now you know the channels where you're going to distribute it. Let's say you're going to put the video on YouTube, then after you'll put the video on Facebook, then you'll also put the video on LinkedIn. Now let's dive into distribution. So create and distribute content. This is the content distribution trifecta. So it has things like earned media, paid media, on media, that we have already looked at all these different channels in one of our episodes. So we have looked at earned media, paid media, on media. So as you do your distribution, it's very key that you look at these three main components. So the three main components are your earned media, paid media, on media. Along the way, you need to know how you're going to distribute. When you create the piece of content, do you along the way want to get mentions, shares, and retweet and reviews? So you'll create content in a certain way that it has bumps or it has indicators of it being shared. You can even say, like, maybe if you have created this video, you can say, share widely or get to share this piece of video. You can even create a campaign around it. If you share a video, you get to win this, or you get a code for this into one of our products or our services. That puts you in the components of earned media. Paid media, it means you're going to use the paid media channels. You're going to pay money to the platforms to sort of get you visibility. So maybe pay-per-click, displays, retargeting. You'll need to pay influencers for this piece of content. It can be a huge campaign and you create pieces of content, then you give these pieces of content to influencers. So the influencers will go out breaking the content and they'll share the content. That will be paid content promotion, social media ads, so maybe Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on maybe YouTube, on LinkedIn, Pinterest. On the media, on media will just be maybe search engine optimization on media, maybe the mobile site, the blog, but anything to do with paid will fall into the paid media component. Analyze and measure results. Lastly, analyze and measure results along the way as we close on on the steps of building your strategy. So you need to analyze and measure results. This will allow you to make necessary changes to enhance your content so that your content can be able to reach more people that you're targeting. Look at your SMART goals and KPIs to determine the success of your content marketing strategy. Did you achieve your goals and KPIs? Were you close to reaching them, or were you off your estimations? So along the way, you need to measure. You need to know where you are. Did you reach the set targets? Did you close on them? Where are we in terms of analyzing? So distribute and promote, which I want to tackle on deeply. How do you distribute, promote content? If a tree falls in a forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it make a sound? That's something I want to leave for you to think about. Again, second question is, if a post or any piece of content is published but nobody reads it, does it make an impact? So Again, we're looking at distribution. If a piece of content is published but nobody reads it, does it make an impact? It's something I need